I love a good story. Do you? I love a great story. Certain well-told stories have the ability to capture your imagination and transport you and your mind into places that you've never even set foot. Stories have the ability to evoke a wide range of emotion, depending on the depth and the range of the emotion, the connection that you have to the story. Certain stories could have dramatic influence over our choices, our plans, and perhaps even how we live our lives. Stories have potential to penetrate through the hardest walls and inspire us to want to achieve more and be a better version of ourselves. But stories don't just create themselves, no. The best stories come from moments of personal experience and perspective. Have you ever been told a great story from a bad storyteller? I would argue that the person telling the story at times is just as significant, just as important as the story itself. You see, we rely on the storyteller to give an accurate report, an accurate account of what's happened, and to include in order the sequence of events to lead to maybe the end of the story or the point of telling the story in the first place. Have you ever had somebody spoil the end of a story? Maybe even a show that you were watching or a movie. 10 years ago, we viewed the finale of this show. And yes, I did say 10 years ago. It's been that long. And when this first came out, when Lost first came out, I didn't really understand what all the hoopla was about, all the buzz about this particular show. And really, it wasn't until season 4 that I got sick and tired of all of my friends gathering for watch parties that I was not included in because I had no idea what was going on. And so around season 4, I decided, okay, I need to watch an episode of this or two and see what this is all about. And of course, like many of you, I got hooked. And I watched it. And what I had the benefit of that many of you didn't was because I was so far behind, I didn't have to put up with commercials. I didn't have to put up with waiting a whole week to see how the story unfolded. No, I got to watch it on my own terms. I got to watch it back to back, and I could binge watch anytime I wanted to. And many times I did, 3, 4 episodes a night, because it was so well written. The story was being told so well that I didn't want to stop watching. Perhaps that's why so many viewers gathered to watch this up until the 6th season, which I did catch up with everyone about midway, 6th season, and my frustration grew. Because up till that point, I had complete control over how far and deep I got into the story. I didn't have commercials to contend with, or I could watch any episode when I wanted to. But no, this time I had to wait for commercials. I had to wait for the next week to find out what was going to happen. Caused great frustration inside me. But I got to the finale with everyone else. 13.5 million viewers watched the finale of Lost, the 2-hour finale. And that entire week, there were advertisements and promos going out that said, all of your questions will be answered. All of the things that you've been wondering are going to come to light. There's going to be such a bow placed on this that you're going to understand what happened and why it happened and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to tell you, I watched that thing. And at the end of that, I had more questions than answers. I had more confusion than clarity. And I had way more frustration than peace. Stories should not end like this. And today we focus on a brilliant beginning to an end of a story that Jesus is crafting on this Palm Sunday. Today is Palm Sunday. It is the beginning of Holy Week, a week that we remember and reflect on a story leading up to Jesus' death on a cross. And we find the story of this day recorded in the first 4 books of the New Testament, which we call the Gospels. Now, the word gospel literally means good news. It means good news. So the good news of Jesus Christ, Jesus' story, is being proclaimed in these stories by four gospel writers. And the gospel writers that we are looking at in today's significant story, it's a tax collector named Matthew, a Palestinian Jew named Mark, a Gentile physician named Luke, and a fisherman named John. Now, that's a wide array of different backgrounds to offer a perspective on a very important story that's going to lead to something that's going to be very significant, that's going to change lives forever.